As the year winds down, we've been thinking a lot about how we want to approach 2025. For us, it's all about mindful consumption and resetting our financial habits. We're buying less, saving more, and focusing on making the most of what we already have. To kick things off, we recently placed a bulk food order to get ready for a no-spend January, a challenge we're inviting you to join us in. Buying in bulk has been one of our favorite strategies for saving money. Yes, it's an upfront investment, but in the long run, it's cheaper per pound and it cuts down on trips to the grocery store. Plus, it's just satisfying to see all these staples lined up and ready to go. There's a sense of abundance, like you're taking care of future you. This time we focused on the essentials, things we know we'll use often. Big bags of rice and beans, sugar for baking and canning, and oats for breakfast and snacks. These are all building blocks of so many meals in our home. By stocking up now, we're also locking in current prices, which feels especially important with food costs continuing to fluctuate. Once everything's unpacked, it's time to move these foods into their long-term storage containers. We use food-grade 5-gallon buckets lined with Mylar bags, adding oxygen absorbers to keep everything fresh. The lids we use are twist-off and airtight, a bit tricky to get on the first time, but so worth it for the convenience and peace of mind. If you're wondering where we store all these buckets in our tiny home, that is certainly a good question. All of these large buckets will be in the storage shed. It's a system that works well for us and keeps our living space uncluttered. Now we need to restock a freezer staple of ours, cooked rice in individual portions. Having pre-cooked rice on hand is one of my favorite kitchen hacks. It's such a simple thing, but it saves so much time on busy days. I start by cooking a big batch in the Instant Pot, one of my most used appliances. It's quick, reliable, and perfect for jobs like this. Jasmine rice is our favorite, and we use it for everything. Once the rice freezes, we will store it in bags in the freezer. We are using the 1 cup and 2 cup trays to have perfect portions. Whether I'm making fried rice, adding it to soups, or just serving it as a side, having frozen cooked rice on hand makes life so much easier, especially after a long, cold day. Having meals ready to go in the freezer has been a game changer. Today I'm pulling out bean soup that we made a large batch of and froze last week, and some corn casserole that I froze at Thanksgiving. Freezer meals are like little gifts you give to yourself, a way to lighten the load when cooking feels like too much. With the last of the rice from the Instant Pot, I'm making one of our staple meals for dinner, fried rice. This dish is endlessly adaptable. Today I'm using what we have on hand, a mix of veggies, a protein, some fat, chicken powder, and a splash of soy sauce. It's quick, satisfying, and a great way to use up odds and ends from the fridge. Days like this remind me how much small actions can add up to something bigger. It's not about perfection. It's about creating systems that make life a little easier and a lot more intentional. And that's what No Spend January is all about. There's something about winter mornings that just feel different. The world outside is still, wrapped in frost, and inside the kitchen is the heart of everything. Today, we're starting the morning with one of our go-to breakfasts. This is a breakfast I grew up eating and one that we both love. Bacon from the pigs we raised, eggs from our chickens, and a little cheese melted onto warm corn tortillas. And to tie it all together, a dollop of our homemade salsa, which we canned last summer when the garden was overflowing with tomatoes. It's not fancy, but it's honest, comforting food. This meal is a reminder of why we put in the work, raising animals, growing a garden, and preserving food. It's not just about self-sufficiency. It's about slowing down, appreciating what you have, and staying connected to the food you eat. It's easy to take food for granted when everything is so convenient, but meals like this remind us that there's value in the process, not just the result. After breakfast, it's time to get the last of our bulk foods into storage. With the last of them tucked away, it's time for one of my favorite winter rituals, making granola. Granola is one of those things that is so simple, you wonder why anyone buys it pre-made. It can be made with many different ingredients using things that are likely already in your pantry. Today I'm using oats, sugar, and quinoa from our bulk stash, a mix of nuts, a splash of vanilla, a sprinkle of cinnamon, and a pinch of salt. But you can use whatever you have on hand. That's the beauty of it. And the smell while it bakes, it's heavenly. I'm popping the frozen rice cubes out of the trays and into freezer bags where they'll be ready for quick meals down the road. Today we're breaking out our grain mill for the first time. We grew flour corn over the past 2 summers because we wanted to be able to grind our own cornmeal and flour. But first we are doing a test run. It took a bit of time to adjust the grind, but we got it going, and now it's time to make tortillas. It's been a while since we've done this, so there's a bit of trial and error. The masa is too wet, then it's too dry, and then you press the tortilla too thin or too thick. If you're interested in joining us and many others for a no-spend January, follow along for weekly videos here or on Instagram for more day-to-day updates. And if you end up posting about your no-spend January, tag us so we can see and share. We will certainly need to practice this whole process some more, but in the end, we have about 20 totally edible tortillas. With that amount, we can easily make 5 meals. Whether it's a homemade tortilla, a jar of granola, or a freezer stocked with possibilities, we want to see how you mindfully create meals in the new year.